Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome back to the OVRC. I am joined once again by Owen.
Hello everyone.
And you all join us today at the end of practice for round 4 at the Nürburgring. It's fairly cloudy, fairly cold. As the last few people come and set their lap time. Do you want to quickly run over the current standings of the championship, Owen, before we get underway?
Yeah, so leading the championship right now is Otso Olaila, followed by Mark with 67 points, followed by Mark Slothman with 60 points. Then third is Robert Nygaard with 47 points. Fourth is John Dalton with 45 points. And fifth is Ryan Wilson with 40 points. Leading the team championship right now is Large Boy Racing with 77 points, followed by W&D Motorsports with 74. In third is Panda Racing GSR with 70. Then we have Panda Racing AMG with 67. And Uber Beamer in fifth with 62 points.
Green light, give it again.
Thank you for that. As qualifying gets underway and the first car out on track is Mark Whitford. Currently there's 13 cars in the session, and I don't imagine seeing many more. A few people have announced today that they're not driving, but we've got still a few familiar faces around. That should be an interesting race indeed. It seems to be fairly close after practice. We'll see obviously after qualifying where everyone will stack up as they head around Nürburgring, a 5.137 kilometer long circuit in Germany. F1 actually raced it fairly recently. I keep forgetting that. I did go back here last year. Or was it the year before that? It was 2020 that went here. I get confused. Point is, Formula F1 circuit.
F1 normally has been going to the Hockenheim ring in recent years, although not anymore. But I don't think they've been to here in a while.
They went in 2020 due to the whole COVID situation, forcing them to find races pretty much anywhere. So they did have a race here. But I've always liked the Nürburgring. Good circuit. I think it's quite popular by a lot of people in the sim racing community. And this is where round 4 will be taking place as Mark Whitford heads down the somewhat neck straight. It's not really a straight, it's got a kink in the middle of it. But it's effectively a straight. You're flat out into the chicane as we're about to go on board with Mark Whitford. He does his first quali lap. Goes from the final corner right now. And starts to head down the start-finish straight. Breaks the timing beat. There's a small kink and downhill in turn 1, hard on the brakes, just after the 100 board. Get the car in nice and tight. Roll out wide and exit. And you want to switch to the other side of the road as you head into the Mercedes arena. The complex of corners. Go for the first one then, and another right-hander now. Roll the car from the curb. You want to keep it as tight as possible because you want to straight line it effectively from the outside as you exit and head towards a Valvoline curve. Get your sprint, brake just as the access road ends. Up tight up of the curb. A left-hander and then rolling the hill. I went left and right mix up then. Pretty sure. Hard brake for Dunlop hairpin at the bottom of the hill. And all the rest of the track is all going uphill from now. Climb up towards the Schumacher S's. Bit of a lift there. Avoid the gravel trap on the exit. And once again, hard on the brakes into the Michelin corner. Michelin curve. Switch back to the other side as he starts then looking at downhill onto that back straight we mentioned earlier. It's all flat out through the kink. Nice and gently, and he gets the final chicane using the fast chicane to hit the brakes 50 point, hit the curbs, attack the curbs. Roll wide and exit. On the brakes for the final hairpin. Try and control the oversteer if you do get something, and then that's a lap off the Nürburgring. So it's the first time we're 1:54.9. About across the line, so that 1:56.3, and John Dalton will be next. That's 55.4.
Max Softmill up next. He goes second.
John Daly across the line goes fourth, 55.6. And Lila will be the next car to cross the line, and behind him will be Thomas Janssen. And Lila goes quickest with 54.4. Janssen goes second quickest with 54.5. Going across the line, he goes P8. That's 55.837. The first set of times out as everyone's quite a few people on outlap still right now, so a few people obviously have returned to the pit lane or have made an off track at some point over the last over the last lap. So the next car actually on the van lap will be John Dalton. He's P5 and they can't eat half a second up.
Actually, Ryan Mawson is coming up to the finish line right now.
I don't think he's on a timed lap.
Looks like he wasn't.
Blue on the map radar, so
I think he may have had on the invalid lap then.
Dalton comes across the line. What time will he set? He goes up to P3, P4.6.
Butler up next. Stays in 10th.
Duffmel jumps to P3.
And Daly across the line. And does not improve his position.
But improves his time. He gets closer. Jensen currently 5/10 down as fastest on this lap, so not going to improve.
Gladdening is 8/10 up as he heads around the final corner. And he will move up to 7th.
Sebastian across the line, and he does not improve his time. He keeps going. Currently down in P8. Currently all but Timothy Glenning on track right now. With Thomas Janssen just pulling off to the side of the road, so he returns to the pit lane.
Yep, Tom Pottage heads into the last corner to hopefully set his first valid lap.
Yep, in the green machine. It is a very bright green, that car. Across the line, goes fastest with 54.392.
Ryan Mawson goes 7th. And Valkenstein across the line next. He goes 9th.
Teammate next, Cabal across the line, not improving.
James Butler goes wide in the second to last corner. As he gets passed by the Ferrari of Softmill. And Softmill moves up to 2nd.
Lila on a possible improvement right now, saying that he'd just go very wide on the exit of the chicane onto the grass. So will he lose a bit of momentum? And it does seem so. He doesn't improve his time. Woodford's currently not improving. He's going across the line, but 7 tenths down, so more possibly could warm the tyres a bit. Not a lot of dramatic improvements right now. A lot of red on the timing tower.
Yeah, Lila is currently a tenth up, and Daly is 2 tenths up, and Butler is 6 tenths up right now. Of those cars, looks like Butler will be first across the line, as he's been actually improving a lot right now, 1.5 seconds. But he has quite a lot of time to make up as well.
Into the final hairpin. He's also an improvement who's just behind Butler. Butler finishes his lap. Why still P13 closes the gap to Cabal.
Not seeing a lot of improvements now. John Dalton is improving by 2 tenths.
Sebastian improved by 2 tenths heading through the chicane, so gains a bit of time through that. Can he keep his momentum going into the final corner? 3 tenths up now. He moves to P10. 55.6 dead.
Thomas Jensen is a tenth up.
Across the line now and
Up to
improves
third.
his time. Very close to the top 3 right now. Top 4 under a 10th.
Dalton's lost time towards the end of his lap there.
Oh, Butler goes out very hard over the chicane curbs and loses all the advantage he gained over that lap. He's currently 2 tenths up, which would have put him at least into P12.
Stoffman heads down the final corner again. He turns up right now. Could be taking P1. And he does.
0.27 over Pottage. Pottage
Yeah,
himself
Pottage 2
is on
tenths
10th.
up.
Yeah, gains a bit through the heading down the back straight. Under 2 minutes left in qualifying, so all might heat up a tiny bit. Three attempts up for Pottage now as he crosses the line and moves up to P1. Extends that advantage by a significant amount. Mawson 3 attempts up as well. Across the line, move up to P5. Bolkestein, next car to possibly cross the line. Not really seeing much of an improvement right now. Got a few more corners. Bolkestein crossed the line and
Stoffmill is now 3 turns up. Could he take back professional pole? Just misses out by 33 milliseconds.
He actually took 3 attempts off exactly off the time.
Yeah.
Sebastian Bruno across the line. He will improve his time. He's got a chance to set one more lap. He seems to have took the throttle out, so that's him over, I believe, qualified.
Oh, Dawson spins.
Lawson spins as well at some point. Thomas Janssen, 1/10 down currently, heading to the chicane. And he improved at all in his final hairpin. Doesn't look like it. You will have to stay P3. A lot of people have returned to the pit lane now. It's Bolkestein, Stoffmill, Lila, all still out on track. Everyone else. Cabal still on track, but they're currently already past the checkered flag.
Lila is still improving.
Stoffmill's got to improve by such a small amount this time. He's just got to get pole. Bolkestein across the line now. He's 2 temps up. And will stay P9, but improves his time.
What will happen to Stoffmill?
He's 1 temp.
Takes pole.
So Stoffmill takes pole for round 4, just like he started the season. Your top 3 are Stoffmill, Pottage, and Janssen. Gets P3 as qualifying. He is known to be quite strong around Nürburgring, but the times set by Stoffmill and Pottage are quite quick, I must say.
Yeah, things are looking very close between them. But yeah, they are a lot faster than the rest of the field.
As you see how the race folds out, obviously. Different conditions, full fuel tank. Or maybe half, I don't actually know. Strategy, I have not really been able to call the strategy this season so far. So, as everyone starts to line up on the field now. So, 13 cars, 1 mandatory pit stop, 1 hour race around Nürburgring. As we start countdown to green. So the spread of cars is a decent mix in the top 5. Dalton and Whitford struggling a bit in qualifying. They were strong in practice, but I think they struggled actually getting the actual lap time out. So they're a bit behind P6 and P8 for those two. Pottage, who's making a one-off appearance. P2. Stoffmill, Stoffmill and Lila, which are realistically the 2 championship fighters. Currently sitting, 2 cars between them. Janssen, quite high up. He's been struggling a bit this season, getting back into the swing of things, but up today with a swanky new livery. I'm not biased in the livery at all. Oh yeah, his teammate Nygaard is not showing up today, so obviously it's a bit counted as his drop round. So bit of a blessing that will be, but unfortunately he's currently P3 in the championship, and that team being formed up mid-season, which we don't really have restrictions on. If people want to do that, they can do that. They're both in the same car. That's all we care about. They're currently leading the teams championship. So it'll be interesting to see how the championship changes into this race and what happens generally. I mean, Nürburgring Turn 1 is a bit like Monza Turn 1. But we had a clean Turn 1 at Monza last race. Well, mostly clean. Everyone got through it. There's a bit of argy-bargy going in the back, but nothing too bad. So you soon will see the cars drop from the jacks, and they will put their final tyres on, final fuel in. As the 30-second warning is there. So overall, the field's actually been fairly close bunched up. At least someone's got everyone with someone else in qualifying, it looked like. As you can start to hear the engines fire up. At least I can.
Yep, you can hear it on the stream as well.
As the Stockmiller prepares to lead the pack away from the grid. And he does so. Gets underway. Everyone else doing the same. No one spins in the start, which is good. You know, spinning when getting from the pit box, not a good idea. Anyway, so to run over the starting order. So, Stoffmill and Pottage are your front two cars. Stoffmill on the inside in P1. Jansen, Alida, row 2. Mawson, Dalton, row 3. Daly, Whitford, row 4. Falkenstein, Brunier, row 5. Gillian, about row 6. Butler on his own, row 7. A few cars out of position, possibly. I think Brunier and Whitford a bit further down than I would like. Glannin's generally a bit further up, but the top 4 or 5 cars are very strong drivers, so I'll be interested to see how everything turns out. Worth noting, actually, on qualifying, the only person which didn't set a faster sector at all was Pottage. Didn't set a single faster sector. So the conditions look fairly stable. No wind, oddly. In ACC weather things, no wind. So that is very cloudy. I don't understand the Sims weather system at times. It's very clever, but it sometimes just wants something simple. They're all set for the Schumacher S now. Of course, if you want to see any information about the championship, bandings and that lot, you can go to the website, which is in the description. Link to the Discord's also there if you want to have a chat with the guys, just generally about sim racing. Everyone there is friendly, give you advice about how not to crash. I can't. I give you terrible advice. But other people can give you useful advice. As I head onto the back straight now, it's just seeing the cars soon start going 2x2 formation. Let's head towards the final sector line. I forget how short the final sector of this circuit is. It's literally the chicane and the hairpin. It's the final sector. Your sector 1 goes from the start-finish line all the way down to the Dunlop chicane. It's Dunlop chicane, hairpin, wrong track. Not them on. All 13 cars lined up. Through the final corner right now. So we are about to go racing for the 4th time this season, the 4th time for the OVRC this year. 1 hour of Nürburgring. Be interesting who will win. Stoffmill with the inside line going to turn one to head towards time bar as the green flag gets waved and we're all underway. And the Lila gets the best start of the bunch there as he pulls to the outside. And he will try and get past Pottage from the outside. Possibly get Stoffmill as well, as everyone else seems to have got through just fine. Some cars possibly pushed a bit wider than they would like. But so far so good. Jansen, the two BMWs with the inside line going out of the Mercedes arena. Whitford managed to make his way up the order a bit. So has Dalton, who's got ahead of Jansen. A few cars struggled in the start, since BMW struggled the most as they dropped, both cars I believe dropped positions. Rest of the order fairly stable. The order will now reshuffle the timing tower because it needs to. As we head up to the Schumacher S's for the first time of the race. I think Folkenstein went a bit wide on the exit then, lost a bit of time. As his teammates looking to have a go on gliding in. A bit further down the order. As Cabal does so, but has to watch for the inside going down the hill. There's a bit of contact there. Cabal spun around, Butler gets involved, but I don't think on purpose.
Let's have a replay of that. Yep, got hit in the side by Gladdening. I think Gladdening could come a little bit further to the inside, but I'm not sure if he was to blame there, if he just seeing inside of the chicane a bit afterwards.
Although it has done, it's broken the gap for Glenning and Butler as Cabal's retired, so after that spin. It explains why I was a bit confused for a second there. And lap 2, Stoffmill still leads as Pottage attempts to close the gap to Elida, who managed to jump and nearly got P1 around the outside at turn 1. Stoffmill did manage to keep hold of that position though. As Tolkenstein's dropped behind Butler now. I'm not sure what happened there.
Mawson might be having a go at Whitford.
He's looking around the outside of the chicane. This difficult spot to make a move. Gets touched to the grass a bit, loses a bit of traction. Doesn't make the move happen. Has to back off. But has made the gap between those. So Jansen extend a bit as well. So Jansen probably hoping those two keep fighting each other for a bit longer, just to help extend that gap a bit. As Lawson around the outside in the Mercedes arena. Whitford with the inside. Not a lot you can do there. Gap to the leader and the top three is somewhat even between each car, so Interesting to see how it pans out. So everyone heads up through the Summit Crest once again. As Awesome looking around the outside again. Then we'll have the inside line into the next corner. And makes his way up to P6. A good move there by Mawson. Bit deceptive defending that set of corners. How Whitford was. As Whitford hits a bit of a curb and lose a bit of time. Tries to gain it back up on getting the brakes.
And Potter staying close to the back of Slothmill. So after 3 laps, we've still got a 3-way fight for the lead.
One car out of those top lot, which started high up, has dropped back a bit, is Jansen. He doesn't seem to have quite the race pace. Sort of dropping a tiny bit back from Dalton, who is again dropping back for those top 3, so definitely not as quick as he was in qualifying. But still a long way to go. We're only on lap 3 of the race so far.
With Bottage.
Let's see if Pottage will try and attempt to move or not. As Bolkenstein's off at the Schumacher Wrestlers. Wonder if he got involved. Not a good race so far for the 2 Chrome BMWs. Obviously, one of the cars out of the race. The other one all the way back down in P12. Quite a way
there's
off.
a weird spin on the replay there. Weird twitch.
As Potter's going down the inside of turn 1 of Lila. Can he get the exit? Not quite. That's tossing behind now through this Mercedes arena, but looking for the move down the inside now to the next left-hander. And gets ahead of Lila on the exit. Back up to P2 then for Pottage. Let's see if he can actually drive away from Lila. Not always those two going to be good together. Has allowed Dalton to close the gap a bit. As Mawson's got ahead of Whitford that last lap, so Whitford possibly made a little mistake. He's down 1.5 seconds, so lost quite a bit of time over that last lap.
Mawson's also set the fastest lap.
Yeah, and he's closed up right onto the back of Jansen, so the 2 BMWs together. Stoffmill's got a 1.5 second now advantage to Tom Pottage after those two had a little fight, and Dalton's actually closed a bit still, so he's not exactly Elias not pulling away yet. Obviously it's been just under a lap, so still a lot of chance for him to get some speed back up again. Mawson drives a bit wide on exit.
Daly seems to be closing up to Whitford as well.
Whitford just seems to have lost a bit of pace now. Track conditions haven't changed much, so I don't think it's going to be another variable unless obviously people set their tyres up wrong and are struggling to keep temperature or overheating them. That could explain the sudden pace deficit of some of the cars. The track is still about 20 degrees, so it's not really gone up above that all weekend, all day yet. It's not a weekend. Jansen dropping back a bit now to Dalton, as Pottage has closed the gap to Stoffmill, so the gap was 1.5 seconds, it's now 0.9 seconds between the leader and P2. I think a bit of people are losing a bit of time by taking too much curb in the chicane. I've seen a few people take it and having to lift off a bit and wrestle the car back. It could be a cause of a few people struggling a bit. But also, if you don't commit hard enough, you lose a lot of time. As
Wilson down the inside of Jansen.
Jansen somewhat takes a safe route and lets Mawson by. Up in at 2P5. Jansen falling down the order. Started P3, now sitting P6. Delilah still dropping back from Pottage. Delilah, who looked very strong in the opening few laps, losing a bit of that pace now. Pottage set the fastest lap the last time by. As we had, I believe, Butler has just dropped out as well. I don't know why exactly this happened, if it was a connection issue or a deliberate retirement. As the gap between the top two cars is closed down significantly now. Under half a second between those two. Pottage on a bit of a charge right now. Johnson pulled back again from Mawson. So Mawson definitely a bit quicker, but Mawson not gaining as quick onto Dalton as I thought he would. Gap still 1.3 seconds back currently. Things have stabilised a tiny bit from the looks of things. As Whitford's gone off and hits Daly. Daly managed to keep going. Whitford's off at the Schumacher S. I think he might have hit the curb or something as he returns to the pit lane. That's Whitford. You just see a replay of that.
Yep, we did show a replay of it on the stream. Yeah, lost it on the inside curb.
Daly obviously managed to keep going, so obviously not much damage to him. That was a bit of damage on the side of that car. Seems like the pain of W&D Motorsport doesn't seem to be ending this season. So things seem to have somewhat stabilised a tiny bit. Obviously, Potter's still on the right up behind Stoffmill. The ring's closed up to Brunier right now. Potter's a bit deep there going into the final corner. Loses a bit out of it. Mawson might be slowly trying to close the gap onto Dalton now. Dalton's dropped back a bit from Lila. Lila might also be stepping up the pace a bit as he's closed a bit further back in. Top two. Again, some of these things obviously flow as Falkenstein's into the pit lane. First stopper. Falkenstein changes his tyres and is back underway. Fortunately for him, his race is a bit on his own. But he does have clean air, so possibly can get some lap times out. Look at that, Sebastian looks to have some damage on his car actually. Oh no, it's just the way ACC texture compression works. Just struggling a bit around here right now. The two closest fights on track right now are Pottage and Groningen. As they chase down the car ahead, Groningen 0.2 off Sebastian and Pottage 0.3 off Stoffmill. Dalton's dropped way off the back of O'Reilly, now 2 seconds off. Definitely struggling a bit with pace. A good run. Lap 11 underway, and the leaders are not that far apart. Looked for a move.
Just got a report from James Butler on Discord, and his game crashed.
Long time since I've seen a crash in ACC, but sucks to hear that's the reason why he's out of the race. You know, so I think it's out of your control to some level. Mawson closing on to Dalton. Dalton makes a very deep line through the Dunlop and loses a lot of time out of it, so that fight closes right up. And Lila tries to close up to Pottage as well. Again, dropping further back from Mawson, so definitely struggling a bit with pace. Lyre's now a second back from Pottage, so definitely might be closing as Dalton goes a bit defensive on the back straight. There's Glennie and Brunier now on the back straight as well. Possible threat this time around. Doesn't look like the Audi's gaining enough time. Brunier will take the inside line. Keep the position for now. So about hit the 35-minute mark. which should be in the next 5 or so minutes. We might see a few pit stops get underway. Dalton once again closes up to Dalton. Dalton looking to go around the outside of Dalton. Can't really go around the outside there, don't you think, Wilson? You lose the bumps on the exit there, the Ford curve. Now tries to go around the inside Dunlop. That's the back out once again. Someone just trying to force his nose in somewhere just to try and get Dalton offline. So far it isn't really working. The Lions closed up wrong, that whole pack for the fight for the lead. Oh, Stoffels off the track. Just about gets on track before Elida gets him, but...
Yeah, runs wide on the exit of the chicane.
Not quite sure if he hit the curb then or not, but what has definitely happened is he's lost the push into Tom Bottage, who now takes the lead, and he hits Tom Bottage in the first corner.
It's breaking down a bit for
the top two, which are now far from the top two. Elias got the lead now. That leaves John Dalton's now into P2.
Yeah, Plus is having a bit of a rough time getting back on track after that.
Yeah. So Lila now have a significant gap advantage now. Stoffmore seems to be waiting on the side of the road to Dunlop to let Pottage back past. So Pottage retakes P5. Those two have got half a race to try and gain that time back if possible. Lila isn't slow though. Let's see if you know. Maybe Dalton and Mawson could do something about this. Don't know. They seem to be still having a little bit of a squabble of their own. As we might see some pit stops very shortly. It's 51 minutes left to go. As Pottage draws into the pit lane. He decides the time is now. Meant to probably get some fresh tyres on.
Daly heads in as well.
And Gulling in as well. That's 3 pit stops. Let's see if Pottage will head out on track. Let's see how quick his pit stop is. Obviously, the only other car that's done a pit stop yet is Falkenstein, as the halfway marker has been Bottas is now rolling back out. So it is Daly. I think Glenningham will be getting underway shortly as Dalton's off the road at the Schumacher S. He's back underway. But he has lost 2 positions out of that. Yeah, he's lost 3 positions. So Mawson moves up into P2. Jansen back into P3. Doffel into P4. Dalton drops
into
down.
the pits.
So is Dalton as well. He enters pit road. So either pits from the lead. Obviously, he will now lose that lead due to the other cars passing him.
Brunier's coming in as well.
That's 3 cars in now. Bottas obviously leading all the cars which have done a pit stop, but lost quite a bit of time during that turn 1 incident. As Dalton seems to have not gone in his pit box properly, as he seems to have put his car into reverse gear then. Definitely, the line gets underway. He's still got quite an advantage now over Bottas. He's going for the final corner now as Alaya enters turn 1. Anyone else to pit? Not yet. Everyone else still out on track.
Yes, Brunier and Dalton are now back out as well.
Dalton pulled out ahead of Daly, who's got involved in that contact with Whitford earlier on. Mawson enters the pit lane now. Which will mean Thomas Jansen is the leader now. Doffman also enters the pit lane now, so 2 laps later. The question is, how quickly can anyone close down to Alaya, who's been gifted a 14-second lead over everyone else? Being in the right place at the right time, though. Could this be I believe his 2nd win of the season if he does pull through? I'm trying to remember now who's won the rest of the races. He won Monza. Yes, so it'd be a 2nd win if Alaya does keep the lead. Obviously, Marcus Lawrence won Donington. As Stoffmill is underway.
Yeah, Mawson is back out as well.
A quick pit stop for Stoffmill there. Got out ahead of Pottage. Jansen's the only car yet to pit yet, as he's halfway around the lap. Mawson is the car most likely try and catch Alaya at this stage. Well, it comes a question to see if the
Jansen
pace.
into the pits.
Last car to do a scheduled stop. Flying through the chicane. We will now take P1 as Hawkenstein has stopped. Compared to the Schumacher S's once again.
Yeah, seems to have spun into the barrier there. It's got damage at the front.
Will inherit P3 from Janssen after that pit stop. Blaney and Brunio once again fighting each other for currently P8.
Closest fight on track right now is between Junior and Gladdening. They're fighting for P8.
Yep. Mawson dropping back a bit from Alila. Otherwise, this seems to be the quickest car on track now as well. I'm just looking at the times. A lot of people on green times right now, but this is generally no one's really getting the closest person to their best lap is Alila. And then I saw them 55. Janssen got a 54. Well, Tom Potts got a high 54, so. Oh, 2-minute 54 by Janssen, so I completely misread that. As the gap to the lead by Mawson drops to over 5 seconds now. Stockwell sets his own personal best. As Falkenstein's back into the pit lane once again. I imagine that'd be a scheduled stop. Falkenstein is in this pit box. Yeah, between Brunier and Glenning opens up a bit that last lap. Everyone else somewhat is spread out a bit. I mean, Jansen is slowly getting closed in on by Tom Pottage. It's not really quick enough to make anything happen.
Oh, Pottage spun!
Pottage has spun? Oh, he spun again. Spun at the chicane.
See exactly what happened there. Ooh. Yeah, hit the sausage on the second part of the chicane. And he got spat out.
The race he wanted to have, Pottage. Yeah, it's hit a bit too hot in there, looked like in the replay. Got the car uneven over it and can't really do that. Wilson's close to get by half a second over the last lap. I don't think it'll be quite enough. It's just over 15 minutes left to go. I don't think he's going to be closing that gap quick enough to really make a dent in Elila's lead. As Sebastian Brunier is off the track. He's back on again. He going and gets past him. That was down at the Valvoline curve.
See what happened? Ooh! A weird twitch into the corner there. Not sure why that happened.
The broadcast stream. Yeah, so the car sort of half wanted to go around, he managed to catch it. Obviously, touched the gravel. has a bit of a weird one. Possibly brake bias snatching it. Bit of a lock.
Yeah,
Running
I'm
off
guessing it
ABS.
must have been something on the brakes.
It's too far into the corner to think it'd be like something like catching the grass and entry. Obviously, we saw Dalton have his spin at Monza. Well, we didn't see it, but we looked in the replay afterwards, and he spun at Monza by hitting the drainage on the outside of the parabolica. But that's quite clearly hit that. On that one, it didn't really hit anything which would have caused that. Obviously, that little spin by Sebastian means that the fight between him and Glennie is sort of not coming to an abrupt end. Everyone
Yeah,
else,
that's unfortunate.
everyone else will once again spread out a tiny bit.
I'm just riding on board with John Dalton as he is chasing Tom Pottage ahead of him, who just had his had a spin earlier on.
Tom Potter's race went from good to bad to very bad very quickly. Awesome, trying to make a dent into Elias' lead, but it's not really happening, I don't think. So just over 10 minutes to go on lap 25. Lyon leading by 4.1 seconds over Mawson, who is taking up P2 after everyone around him refused to have it. As is the correct way of saying it, I imagine. After started off as a going wide by stopping at the chicane, ended up with him hitting the back of Pottage into turn 1, allowing Lila and Mawson to slip through. Jensen initially gained from it, but he dropped back to P4 after the pit stops. Knocking off 5 seconds back from Mawson. Pottage, who had another spin at the chicane, is now bound in P5. Bring up the live timing quickly. But Mawson may have a bit of a pace advantage at this stage, but is it a bit late? I think so. It appears that everyone right now seems to have gained a bit of their pace back, but is it enough? I don't think so. I think it's all way a bit too late for it to happen. Softmail quickest that time out of the top 3 with 54.5, which is his personal best as well. So, took a bit more time. Could he catch Mawson? A bit too much of an arse to catch a Lila. But, you know, like, there's still a chance something to happen. As Potters has got Dalton right behind him now.
Oh, Dalton. Oh,
Very sideways as that, and just sort of glimpse of it.
so look at that big drift into the Schumacher S, but saves it.
So Mawson's chopping out another second out of Elida's lead, so Elida possibly struggling a bit now. A second slow that last lap. Again, 6 minutes to go, so I won't be too worried about it yet, but it seems to be pretty okay this lap.
Yeah, maybe Olaus just had a bad lap the last time around. It's looking better this time around.
Seems to have stabilised a bit this lap. Yeah, the lead is now 3.2, so Eli has pulled that gap out a bit. As Falkenstein has retired from the race, so a few retirements in this race, means 4 so far. Just over 4 minutes left. Now, into 3 more laps, possibly. With my very inaccurate maths. Lap 29 starts. Dalton attempts to close the gap to Potters once again. Potters seems to be struggling. Stoffel closes the gap to Mawson further, so there could still be something on.
We've only got 3 minutes left, so I don't think there will be much going on in the top 3. Yeah, we can still have something between Potters and Dalton. So Dalton just loses it again.
I think everyone's insisting and like just making us anticlimactic. Everyone's like, oh well, trying to throw off the corner.
Yeah, looks like he probably lost it on the brakes there, coming into the corner.
I mean, all this track is quite tricky. It's all of this like not straight. It's got bumps and off at cambers and on cambers. So it's not exactly an easy track. And if you've got a car set up very aggressively to get pace out of it, you've got a higher risk of one of those mistakes coming through, which seems to be catching a few people out.
So Lila is coming through the final corner now to start what will be the last lap of this race.
Leaders on final lap now.
Currently a 2.8 second lead. Dunlop for the final time. The gap between him and Mawson goes to 2.5 seconds, but I don't think it's really going to matter now. Down towards the back straight. Through the chicane. And he goes wide. He goes wide at the last corner. Can he keep it going? Needs to be just far enough ahead to keep it going. And he'll cross the line and take the victory for round 4 just about. Mawson will come at P2. Sophomore P3. Thomas Jansen will come home P4. One Potters, who started on the front row, will end up in P5 at the end of all that, with John Dalton behind. Jordan Daly will be the next car home in P7. It'll just be Glennion and Brunia take the last 2 spots. And that has been round 4 of the OVRC GT3 Series, and everyone just felt like just not wanting to win it. Granted, I don't think Pottages was really his fault, but I think everyone collectively tried to not win that race.
Yeah, it was very strange in terms of the amount of little incidents that happened with people just losing the car.
Lapse of concentration, perhaps. I'm not sure. The chicane is notoriously tricky because it tends to take those curbs are nasty. I avoid the slow one personally, but yeah, a few little mistakes creeping in there. And I think it's the most DNS we had all season so far. So not a great. But I think it was a good racing in bits there. I think at the start it was quite good. I enjoyed it. I just wish people kept the car on the road a bit more.
Yeah, that sure would have been nice.
If you did enjoy that, everyone, make sure we'll be back here next week for round 5 at Suzuka, and maybe a slightly different race lap.
Yeah, hopefully a bit more action in that one, with less people losing it on their own, and that will be good.
Yep.
So, if you enjoyed this race, we'd really appreciate it if you could click the like button and subscribe to the channel to catch our upcoming races, including that next week's round at Suzuka.
Yep. So then, everyone, stay safe. Be cool.
Goodbye.